Mary?
Thanks, Lisa. A romantic husband like Bobby Brown gives Whitney Houston plenty to sing about, and tomorrow only on ET, you'll hear Whitney's latest song. If you've been waiting for Whitney Houston's next hit, get ready to sing her praises as Whitney makes a musical new movie with her mom handling the harmonies. Whitney goes gospel, and we've got your exclusive sneak peek.
Gospel with her mom handling the harmonies and the hard questions.
Did she want to go to church every Sunday?
It's her musical new movie, and we've got your very first look.
2 hit films. Now, after The Bodyguard and Waiting to Exhale, Whitney returns to the big screen, and only E.T. can take you there. We will be going to the set with Whitney a bit later on our show.
Fans, and now she's going gospel in her new film. And Whitney invited E.T. to join the choir. Here's Lisa Canning.
We're here in New Jersey, Whitney Houston's home turf, where she grew up singing in a gospel choir. Hallelujah, Whitney's returned to her roots, and there's no place like home. We were the first television crew while out on the set of The Preacher's Wife, where Whitney's homecoming includes harmonizing with her mom, gospel singer Sissy Houston.
She's never this close to home, never this close to me.
Just hold on. Whitney first tested those famous pipes in a choir run by her mom. So for Sissy, it's deja vu. Did she want to go to church every Sunday?
Well, after a while she didn't, but she went anyway because I was the mother and she wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't her choice.
Mama spoke.
Yeah.
I know about that. Sissy may call the shots at home, but director Penny Marshall's definitely in charge on the set.
Could you move back, Barry? Keep going back.
Denzel Washington co-stars with Whitney and plays the part of an angel sent down to save a struggling church. In the process, he turns Whitney's head.
Yeah, weeping may endure for a night, but joy will come in the morning light.
With her co-star as an angel and both Penny and her real mom on the set, it seems Whitney is in the best of hands. Do you give her a lot of advice?
Always. I'll give her advice until she does. Oh, I do.
Sissy almost played the part of Whitney's mom in the movie, but in the end, Sissy turned it down. She said she didn't want Whitney to hold back in some of the angrier shouting scenes. The Preacher's Wife should hit theaters just in time for Christmas. John, Mary?
Good. Thanks, Lisa.
#1 hits, #1 movies, but her talent isn't just the luck of the draw. It's in her genes. Making the family name famous started with her mom, and you're about to see why.
I don't know about you, but I'm somebody.
She's best known as the mother of Whitney Houston, but Sissy Houston is the somebody whose powerful gospel voice has quietly shaped popular music for decades.
She is single-handedly responsible for some of the sounds that have influenced more people than anybody knows.
Come on, Sissy!
Sissy has sung backup on many of the albums of Luther Vandross, as well as Aretha Franklin and Elvis Presley, to name a few. Now Sissy is stepping into the spotlight with Face to Face, an album that had to be gospel for Sissy.
But I was concerned about getting out the feeling and what I feel and what I think our children need to know.
Sissy's concern for young people is reflected in her role as president of the Whitney Houston Foundation for Children. As for her own daughter, Sissy shared with Whitney the wisdom of a life spent performing. Now Sissy's singing in Whitney's latest film, The Preacher's Wife. Although she spent most of her career in the background, Sissy has no regrets.
I felt there were a lot of things that I probably could have done or reached, you know, but they don't bother me because through my daughter I've reached and attained everything that I needed to.
Sissy's new album, Face to Face, is one of the first records released on the House of Blues label. You can buy it in stores come Tuesday. And you can see mom and daughter singing together on the big screen at Christmas when the preacher's wife...
It's a romantic fable based on the 1947 classic, The Bishop's Wife. It stars Whitney Houston, Courtney Vance, and Denzel Washington plays the role of an angel. How nice. We took our cameras to the set to give you this behind-the-scenes look.
On location in Newark, New Jersey, the cast and crew of The Preacher's Wife are hard at work, and at the helm of the production is director Penny Marshall.
Well, we're hopefully more than halfway through, and being in Newark has been great. This church has been great to us, and the people around, we've had no problems whatsoever, except when everyone's in the church, it's a little warm.
This heartwarming tale will inspire and entertain audiences with romance, good gospel music, and touching characters, played by some of Hollywood's most talented actors.
I play a character named Joe Hamilton, and Joe is he's like a Donald Trump-ish, Johnny Cochran-ish type of guy. He's very rich and very driven, and his main focus is making more money for his empire.
Well, Marguerite was a preacher's wife herself, and my husband died and left the parish to Julia and her husband, and now they have it, and it's Christmas, and I'm coming back for the holidays, and I'm not having any of it.
I'm sort of the daffy secretary that gets everything wrong and misplaces all of his notes. I'm the first one to see the angel played by Denzel Washington, so I get a chance to do a scene with him.
It's a family at crossroads, a community at crossroads. But since I'm the pastor of the community, it's kind of my problem trying to figure out where I'm going, where my family's going, and we need some help. It's gotten to the point where both Julia, Whitney's character, and myself just say, I don't know how to do this anymore. I need some help. And of course, the angel Dudley is there to come down and try to help us, and things get a little complicated from there.
The Preacher's Wife is scheduled.
They were among the many stars at the NAACP Image Awards.
Well, you can't really scream at the Oscars and events like that. With black people, you just scream. Watch, hey! Hey!
Will Smith was making some serious noise at this weekend's 27th NAACP Image Awards. The crowd outside Pasadena's Civic Auditorium welcomed Oscar producer Quincy Jones, the always beautiful Halle Berry, and, oh yeah, little old me to the special event honoring positive portrayals of blacks in entertainment. Hanging with Mr. Cooper's Holly Robinson was there to celebrate.
We look around and go, wow, look how much we've done.
The Reverend Jesse Jackson repeated his Oscar night challenge to the entertainment industry.
The struggle fundamentally is about opening doors, seizing opportunity, and demanding fairness.
For Jada Pinkett, it was the perfect chance to conduct a little business.
Also do a little networking. You know, I'd like to work with you. I'd like to work with you, you know.
Sister twins Tia and Tamara Mowry, well, we're just trying to work together.
Well, go ahead. No, you can talk.
When the show finally broke out, hosts Whitney Houston and Denzel Washington emerged as winners. Houston's Waiting to Exhale took home Outstanding Motion Picture honors, while Washington was recognized for his work in Crimson Tide as Best Actor.
Washington and Angela Bassett led the star-filled parade of winners, and this weekend's honorees accepted their honors with just a little bit of attitude.
I don't know what made me say that, right?
When Whitney Houston won her NAACP Image Award for Best Female Recording Artist, she brought up what was on everyone's mind, the debate over the quality roles and the recognition of African-American performers in the movie industry.
We are honored to be your host for this year's show.
Yes, we are.
Whitney hosted the Gala Award show with Denzel Washington, and everyone was talking about making more inroads into the Hollywood establishment.
This year, considering what happened with the Oscars, it's thank God this year for the Image Awards.
We have the talent, and we have the market, and we ought to have the opportunity.
I just think that it's a good time for people to come together and acknowledge positive images.
It's a sneak peek behind the scenes at the new movie the megastars are filming. And while Whitney's away, hubby Bobby Brown's at play, reportedly spotted at a strip joint. Will Whitney forgive him again? Jody Baskerville has the late-breaking details.
It may be chilly on location in New Jersey, but things are sizzling between wonderful Whitney Houston and dazzling Denzel Washington. And only Hard Copy takes you behind the scenes for this exclusive sneak peek.
Denzel and she have been palling out together. They have been taking their lunches together. They've been taking their breaks together. They've been giggling together.
Nice try, Denzel. But on and off the set of their movie, The Preacher's Wife, people are whispering.
Denzel just makes her feel beautiful and talented, and she's having a great time being in his company.
But just a minute. What about Whitney's husband, Bobby Brown? Bobby who?
Denzel is known as a great flirt, and he's very charismatic. He's just making her feel terrific.
Which is a welcome change for Whitney, who's had her share of problems with her bad boy hubby. Now comes word that while Whitney's glowing alongside one of Hollywood's leading charmers, Bobby's being a wild man down south, reportedly hanging out in some strip clubs.
He was entertained for hours by the girls. They did lap dances, they did table dances. He was stuffing $100 bills in their G-strings.
Just last month, Whitney and Bobby made a point of appearing to be back together on the town here in New York. That's right after Bobby had to check himself into the Betty Ford Clinic to try and kick his demons and drugs. Will Whitney now forgive and forget Bobby's latest sexcapades?
I think Whitney has had it with Bobby Brown.
Predicting when Whitney's patience will run out is now a long-standing bet in Hollywood. But in the meantime, don't cry for Whitney. She seems to be having a great time in the arms of another man on the set of her new movie.
He is the quintessential total opposite of what Bobby Brown is. However, he has one very small little problem, if you don't mind that. He's married.
And by all accounts, happily married. But there is no escaping the comparison. Who makes a better couple, Whitney and Bobby, or Whitney and Denzel on the silver screen?
At the same time that Whitney's career is just on a steady rise to the top, Bobby's is nowhere. His career is essentially over.
Denzel represents to her somebody who's cool, classy, low-key, certainly has more manners, and I think it's a step up, and she's refreshed by it.
Today is Bobby Brown's birthday. He's 27 years old. In an interview this week, Bobby admitted he has had problems with alcohol, but he said he left the Betty Ford Clinic early because the rules were too strict. He also said he and Whitney are no longer separated, but, quote, we still haven't put our rings back on newsstands.
Dead. Some say Whitney's production crew may be partially to blame. Others say one of the crew members is a hero. It was a brutal blaze that erupted last night at this Yonkers, New York apartment building. A frightening inferno, injuring 11 firefighters and tragically taking the lives of 2 young children.
I see the mother of the kids screaming, my kids, my kids.
We had fire in every window, fire in the back porches all the way from the basement to the top floor.
The building burst into flames right across the street from where Whitney Houston and Denzel Washington are filming The Preacher's Wife. Tonight, an unidentified member of the film crew is credited with saving the life of the brother of the 2 dead children. The rescuer reportedly raced up a ladder and plucked the distressed child from a window engulfed in flames. But some are now blaming the film crew for making it difficult for rescue workers to get to the scene.
Fire trucks had problems getting into this area. The hydrants were blocked by the trucks from the film crews.
Was the crew in the way, or were they heroes? Either way, the tragedy they're calling the Whitney fire will forever leave a painful mark on this close-knit community. The cause of the fire is still under investigation.
Hot day away while Bobby Brown, Whitney Houston, and Denzel Washington on the movie set of The Preacher's Wife. Whitney seemed a little nervous on the ice. We don't know if it was because Whitney needed more skating lessons or because her jealous husband Bobby Brown was on the sidelines watching every move Denzel made. Talk about skating on thin ice. Looks like a regular winter wonderland. The Preacher's Wife.
He was there. Whitney Houston was waiting to exhale in her last movie, but as the preacher's wife, she gets a chance to really let loose. In this film about an angel sent to aid a struggling pastor, the pop superstar returns to her roots in gospel music. And as she told our Chantal Westerman, it feels like she never left.
That prayer, it must do your heart good.
to know that you were talking that way a long time ago.
And I'm a long-time believer. I find it coming back full circle. You see, I believe that people are a little more frightened these days. Our children are leaving us. Our children are being killed by one thing or another. There's this war on drugs, there's this, there's that, you know, and it's happening everywhere. I have met so many people who have been on the outs of life, and you know, we all get to that point sometimes, and somehow, some way, they always turn around and they'll tell me, you know, the only thing that saved me was the love of God. In my family, that was the first place you went. It wasn't the last place. It was like my mother said, get on your knees and ask, and you'll receive it.
Would you say that music is sometimes a way of communicating, not just with God, but with other people when you can't say it in words?
Yes, I do. I think music does that generally. When you can't say some things, music speaks louder than words sometimes. My mother used to say, it's the only thing that the whole world will listen to.
What a wonderful thing to say. I imagine a lot of people ask your mother about you and how do you feel when you see Whitney on the stage. How do you feel? How does it make you feel inside when you hear your mother's voice?
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. Ooh, it's overwhelming at times because I know where I got it from. And I know that I could not have achieved that without her. And once I told my mom that this is what I wanted to do, she was frightened.
Really?
Yeah, she was. Because she knew, my mother knew all the crap that goes into this business and how mean people can be. And she was afraid for me because I'm her child. And you always want to protect your child. I know I want to protect my daughter.
You know, it's interesting that you keep giving, even though you have learned how mean people can be by being who you are. No point in going into details, but you know what I mean, and a lot of people do.
Lady.
Oh, thank you. I guess I go back to the same question. What keeps the light shining in you?
Because you know what I know? I know weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. I know this.
What is that again?
Weeping may endure for the night, but joy will come in the morning. Okay, we're going to do I Love the Lord. I said, I want you to let loose in here. Well, I began to sing. Not sing, but sang. And boy, that spirit that came through that church was like electricity. It rocked us. And I was praising, and they were praising.
And she said,
and she was going, cut, cut, cut. And we were just like, forget cut, man. The Holy Spirit is the director now.
The music is the best part of this movie. It's phenomenal, at any rate.
The New York City nighttime. Why? Because Whitney Houston has a new movie out. And you know, if Whitney Houston's going to put out a new movie, they're going to throw a huge party. And you know, if they throw a huge party for Whitney Houston, all the big-time stars are going to show up. So for the next 30 minutes, we're going to do nothing but party with the stars and play Whitney Houston videos. Welcome to the Preacher's Wife premiere party.
We had a ball. You know, I can't believe it's here. It's amazing.
Did you enjoy the movie?
I loved it. I loved the movie.
Denzel Washington, woo! That's a good-looking man.
Did you have as much fun as it looked?
Yeah,
Even more, maybe?
maybe.
Are you feeling spiritual?
I am so spiritual. Oh, my God. It's just surviving through this evening.
What kind of things have happened? I mean, obviously a lot of people you haven't seen since you wrapped the movie, I guess.
On top of that, there's a lot of actors that I haven't seen, period. We're meeting for the first time, but I will tell you, walking on that stage tonight, they asked me, I love this, Lionel, would you like to join in the gospel song?
We're going to play a little Whitney Houston now.
Would you do that?
We're going to play from the Exhale movie, Waiting to Exhale, Exhale, Shoot, Shoot.
Inhale, shoot, shoot.
Now, we're not going to sing with Whitney, but we'll just do a little shoot, 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 shoot. It's me and Courtney Vance just hanging out, of course.
You know, we have several other people here. It's not just you and me, I don't think.
At this very moment, it's a big party.
Well, aren't you hungry, though?
I am hungry. It's the Preacher's Wife premiere party, and there's lots of food here, but there's lots of singing going on.
Lots of singing going on, not much eating going on.
know,
I'll get home and I'll be starving.
That's the whole thing. They throw this wild party. They spend literally perhaps $2-3 million on the food.
And nobody can eat it, you know? Let's go eat.
But you can work it off. We're going to go eat, and we're also playing videos from Whitney, past, present, and perhaps future. We're going to get on probably what's her biggest hit to date from The Bodyguard, of course, which I know you enjoyed.
Right.
This is I Will Always Love You.
Yes, indeed.
Go get some food, man.
Thank you.
A completely festive and spiritual time continues here at the Preacher's Wife premiere party, and when we return, we'll have more Whitney videos, and I have to track down that Denzel Washington, big co-star in the movie. He's arriving fashionably late or something, but we'll track him down, so stick around.
This is Dudley, the Reverend's new assistant.
Ooh. So how was it? You enjoy yourself watching the movie?
I didn't watch it.
Getting ready to see all your friends tonight?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. You know, I get too nervous. I can't sit in there.
Can't be with the crowd. I'm getting a lot of that tonight. I have to
scares
tell
the heck out of me.
I have to tell you something, and stay with me on this. You being in the movie kind of almost detracted from the experience of seeing it a little bit, and I'll explain to you why. There were 3 women behind me who, through the entire movie, every time you'd pop up on the screen, would be going, mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and it's like, you know, after a while, it's like, okay, wait.
That was my mother and
exactly.
2 of her friends.
Exactly, and your character Dudley, such a sweetheart. You didn't have to look far into yourself for that. I mean,
stop it.
It's somebody you can relate to, right?
Stop it. Well, it's good. It's good. You know, I'm just in a good mood, man.
Okay.
I'm just happy. You know, I'm having a happy
How
holiday.
Can you not have a happy holiday?
It's a nice jacket.
Thank you very much. I'm going to play a Whitney Houston video right now. Yeah. I'm Every Woman from The Bodyguard, and I'm going to.
Every Woman.
I'm going to give
from
him
The Bodyguard.
Yeah.
You smell wonderful. What do you call that?
Soap.
So Loretta, are you having a big festive time here?
It's fabulous.
I mean, are your spirits lifted?
This is like the opening night party, right? I mean, it's like a Broadway show opened. I mean, it's incredible. The singing, the mob scene.
Oh, and you know, Whitney didn't have to get up on stage and sing.
She loves to sing. You can't stop her. You'd have to tie her down.
No, we're going to show a little bit more of that coming up in just a few minutes
God,
here.
You have footage?
Yeah, so you keep watching. You keep watching.
Don't miss it.
And I'll tell you, for me, I'm not a religious man. In fact, I'm a nice Jewish boy from New York City.
Uh-huh.
But when she starts singing, going back to her church roots, I get weepy.
You found God tonight, didn't you?
Well, I got weepy. But you know why we all really come to these parties?
Why?
It's not the singing, it's not the food, it's not the fabulous people, it's the free stuff, right?
And it's great angels. Oh, angel perfume.
Got a CD in there.
Oh man, this is the best. I love that. It
Lovely.
smells heavenly.
It is. Angel perfume. What else against wrong? All right, we got to play another Whitney video, and you know this song. The movie has spawned a hit already.
God.
Already a big hit song.
I believe in miracles. Is
I
that
believe
the
in
one?
you and me.
I believe in you and me.
You do believe in miracles,
I
though, don't
believe
you?
in miracles. Okay.
Let's let Whitney do her thing.
it
was a totally festive time, but it is time to wrap things up here. The gala premiere party for The Preacher's Wife. The crowd is starting to thin out, but I would say every single human being that was in this building tonight had their spirits highly lifted by Whitney Houston. We're going to take you out right now with a very special performance from Whitney. Thank you so much for watching. See you later.
Welcome to this Flick's half-hour special on The Preacher's Wife, Penny Marshall's new film starring Denzel Washington and Whitney Houston. Denzel plays Dudley, an angel who was sent down to help the Reverend Biggs and his gospel-singing wife, Julia. This is Whitney's third film and soundtrack. Her first 2 films, The Bodyguard and Waiting to Exhale, were both huge hits at the box office and record stores. And this film promises to be as big. It also gave Whitney the chance to fulfill her lifelong dream of releasing a pop gospel album.
Is it just better and more fulfilling for you to be involved with a movie that is about singing or whose character sings?
You know, I don't know. It just happens to be that way. You know, the films that have come out on me that I've done, just required someone who can sing, but who can interpret and deliver and make it believable. You know, from the bodyguard to the preacher's wife, I've always made.
How old were you when a light bulb went on and it said, "Yo, I got a gift"?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I was about 11, maybe younger. But it was fun before I decided, Mom, I think I want to sing. You know, and she was like, "You want to sing?" She says, "Yeah, well, you can sing. You know, you want to sing in church, sing right here in the kitchen." You know, she said, "But do you want to be in show business?" And I thought, "Well, what's the difference? I want to be a singer like you." She's like, "Honey, the business is a whole nother ball game."
Is professional training important? Were you trained?
Not at all. Not for anything in the world.
You just broke a lot of myths too, because I can't imagine anybody could think you could sing like this without lots of training.
Girl, I sang with Luciano Pavarotti, and I'm a girl from Newark, New Jersey, out of New Hope Baptist Church, and I sang opera. Church brought me there.
Do you prefer singing to acting?
I do. It's more natural for me. You know, I sing better than I speak. I'm not really much of a talker, unless I really know you. But I interpret better what I feel if I just go, what is he doing?
Hey, look beautiful, let's go right here. No, I need my people help. I need to touch you.
Dee and I would just laugh all day sometimes, you know, just little silly things, you know. He's goofy, I'm goofy, we laugh about just things that were familiar to us.
Did he give you a lot of advice? Did you find yourself saying, you know, Dee, how do I play this?
Sure I did, you know. And there were times he'd walk up to me and say, okay, I'm gonna do this. And you tell me what you're gonna do. I'll never forget one day we were filming and he did something and he kept messing with me about something and I just went off. I said, no, I'm not doing so, and he was like, whoa, you know, but it was fun because that's what he wanted to see, if I could react spontaneously.
The Whitney I know is like my little sister, or, you know, the girl from around the way. She's just regular people to me, you know. She's real down to earth, and she and my wife hit it off real good, and except when they start talking about jewelry. I gotta keep working.
Yes, you do.
I said, no, I'm not Whitney. Don't try to keep up with Whitney.
Who sent you exactly?
The top man himself, Mrs. Biggs.
Were you a fan of Denzel's work?
Yeah, he's a fine actor.
Yes, he is.
And he's a cutie pie.
Yes.
And so he's nice to wake up to in the morning, I must say, when you go straggle onto the set and go, oh, hello.
Yeah, and I didn't have any problem saying that line.
You can't get away from the fact that every time women say your name, they go, oh, Denzel. It doesn't matter how old they are, it doesn't matter what color they are. You know, you're a sex symbol.
It works at the toll booth every now and then, because I really didn't have enough money. I didn't have enough money. I was like, oh, shoot, I got here. I didn't have enough money. And later, oh, no, you don't have to pay. I was like, thank God, because I didn't have the money.
From his Oscar-winning performance in Glory to his role in Philadelphia, from Courage Under Fire to The Preacher's Wife, his first stab at romantic comedy, if one thing has made Denzel Washington successful, it's his obvious ability to make great choices.
Some of your choices aren't necessarily based upon, to me it doesn't seem that they're based upon what's going to be popular.
Well, I'm an artist. I'm not I'm called a movie star, but I'm an actor, you know, and I'm looking for the next challenge. I'm not looking for the next box office. You know, it's not all business to me. I mean, that's not what I am. I have a business sense, you know, and I'm no dummy, you know, and bills must be paid. The bill man do be showing up. He has that way of showing up. So you know, you have to be smart about it, but I like making artistic choices. I like going from Malcolm X to Much Ado About Nothing. That's how I was trained. That's how I grew up in the theater.
professional. I mean, you look at him on screen and you know, not only, you know, do you look at him and you say, what a fine-looking man, but you realize that he is dedicated, that he puts in the time and the effort to study his role and to become that role.
Oh my.
It's been an angel.
You'd be surprised how many people tell me that.
Don't go away, because after the break, we'll take a look at the inspired soundtrack to The Preacher's Wife, and you'll get to hear the gospel choir that even director Penny Marshall couldn't stop. Welcome back to this Flick's half-hour special. We're taking a look at the new Penny Marshall film, The Preacher's Wife, starring Denzel Washington and Whitney Houston. While Whitney will undoubtedly get accolades for her acting in the film, again, it may be her soundtrack work that steals the show. Whitney had her hands full as singer and producer on the soundtrack. She's also the first to admit that she couldn't have done it alone.
Girl, I was every woman. I was studio, set, studio, studio, set, studio. But I had a young man by the name of Mervyn Warren, who was a part of a group called Take Six. I got Face to do My Heart Is Calling. He wrote this song, and I kept telling him, I said, Face, I want you to write a song for the skating scene. And he would come up with these tunes. He said, no, but that ain't what I want to do. No, I don't want that tune. And I was like, well, that sounds good to me. And he's like, no, that ain't it, that ain't it. And then he came up with My Heart Is Calling. And it was perfect, because it described Dudley and Julia and what they were going through, or what Julia thought of Dudley and what she felt, but what she had to stay away from. It was forbidden.
And then there's I Believe in You and Me.
Yeah, that was Clive Davis find. You know, he told me about a year ago, Whitney, I'm telling you, this is a great song. I said, Clive, you know, I don't know. I'm not really finding any space for it.
Do you sit back and you say, yeah, but this soundtrack, this is special?
Well, it is a pretty good soundtrack, I'm going to say that.
Annie Lennox has got a song on there. Sissy Houston is singing. A Georgia Mass Choir. And it's holiday, it's gospel, and it's a feel-good soundtrack. So, you know, that's a given.
Did you sing with Whitney? Any of the songs?
Well, between takes on the set, Penny Marshall would say, and cut, and instantly.
Yeah.
Whitney and I would burst into songs like Amazing Grace, in perfect harmony, perfect pitch. We didn't have to discuss the lyrics or the arrangement, because though she was raised in Jersey and I in St. Louis, we had that gospel oneness.
We have some wonderful outtakes of you back there, just, you know, I mean.
It's probably embarrassing as hell.
No, it's definitely not embarrassing. It's very inspirational. I hear that there was a moment when you were shooting the last scenes where the choir was singing The Joy to the World and I Love the Lord, and Penny was yelling cut, and talk about that, because I hear like the Holy Spirit sat down.
You know, we had been, the Georgia Mass and myself, all that week we had been filming, and we were so full we wanted to let loose so badly. I said to them, I said, okay, doing these takes, I said, I'm going to sing, you guys going to do your thing. I said, but if you feel it, let go. If you want to keep singing, don't worry about it, just let it go.
And then, you know, I know when the song's over, and so I yell cut, but they didn't stop.
She's like cutting it, like, no, you don't understand. You don't understand, Penny. This is something deeper than that. This ain't action and cut. This is God's business going on in here. So
Penny gave up and said, let it roll. People were shouting. Water was going everywhere. It was an incredible moment.
And they went to a praise, and the tears was coming down. Oh, it was just a mighty spirit in there. And I remember Penny saying, cut. I could hear cut on top of all of this goodness that was happening. And then I didn't hear it anymore. And I said, Penny, sit down. And she said, just let it go.
Did you see this as, okay, this is my opportunity, Lord, to really shake the house down?
You know, I said, this is my time to show you how much I appreciate you, God, from how much you've given me. You've taken me full circle. You've taken me from pop music, the most popular music in the world, to singing gospel. You brought me full circle here just to show the world. And I've got a following, I've got the masses, and now they're gonna listen to me sing to you. You know what I'm saying?
She has a voice from God, and every generation, every lucky one comes along, and hers is it.
When Whitney Houston opens her mouth to sing, she is the eighth wonder of the world.
Stick around, because after the break, we'll have more from Denzel and Whitney as Flix continues its special look at The Preacher's Wife. Welcome back to this Flix half-hour special on The Preacher's Wife, Penny Marshall's remake of the 1947 classic, The Bishop's Wife. It's the story of an angel sent down to help a man regain the belief that he can make a difference in the world. The film evokes the same spirit as holiday favorites It's a Wonderful Life and Miracle on 34th.
Back to the material world is challenging, to say the least.
What do you call that?
Soap.
It's also challenging for the preacher's wife, whose mother, too, can't help but notice an angel in their midst.
Whew, that's a good-looking man.
But ultimately, the stars say the film is a visual testament of faith.
And hope. Relief. And giving back to the community.
And a Yuletide celebration of gospel, Whitney Houston style. That you probably had something to draw from in your own personal life to play that part.
And if I closed my eyes, I would think I was back in church again when I was a kid.
What was it like working with Whitney?
Well, once I got, got her to understand how to sing.
Indeed.
That's what Denzel Washington says director Penny Marshall provided for him on the set of The Preacher's Wife. It is a holiday movie about an angel sent down to help a struggling pastor. No stranger himself to playing comedy, or herself to playing comedy, Penny Marshall has also directed such hits as Big, A League of Their Own, and Awakenings. And she told our Chantal Westerman why making this movie was nothing less than heavenly.
It's interesting that I would say maybe 10 years ago, the idea of doing a movie about God and angels and believing in it was sort of taboo.
Well, I think faith, I don't care what denomination you are, or what creed, color, creed, you still have to believe. You still have to have hope. And you still have to have faith in something.
Yes.
And I wouldn't mind an angel coming down and helping me out sometime, too.
No.
And if he looked like Denzel, I wouldn't mind it either.
Exactly. I'm praying he looks like Denzel, my angel.
He? Capital H, capital E. I want you to know that together, the three of us can help get you through this little crisis you're having. Look,
I believe when you see a really authentic performance on a screen, that it is directly as a result of what a director is able to encourage, pull, whatever you have to do out of the person. And I think Whitney Houston was wonderful in this movie.
She played the preacher's wife, and she wasn't dressed up all fancy schmancy. She was, you know, dressed down, and she sang because she was part of the church choir. She was the head of the choir. To do a movie that isn't close to your heart. I mean, I don't know how to do that just for the gig. So I have to have something that I hold on to, identify with in the movie I'm making, or else I don't do the movie.
Let's talk about the Georgia Mass Choir.
Aren't they something?
I tell you what, I could not believe that choir. Tell me where you found them.
I found them in Georgia.
Oh, I guess so.
Thus the name.
Thus the name.
We, I looked at a lot of choirs. I looked at tapes on choirs, and auditioned a few here, but I went down to Atlanta, and they had the best faces and the best souls. And they're like working people, and that's what the movie was about, working people. It wasn't about rich people. And mainly that you can make a difference, and that if you work together, and then as a neighborhood, as a community, as a family, that it does help, and it does make a difference. So that I believe.
In The Preacher's Wife. Now, Whitney told me that she loved doing this movie because she gets to sing with a church choir, which is where her amazing career began. In our conversation, she also talked about Denzel Washington, who co-stars, whom she loves, the press, who she hates, and how this movie helped raise her spirits.
I believe in you and me.
The Preacher's Wife stars Whitney Houston as the gospel-singing spouse of a reverend played by Courtney B. Vance, who doubts his ability to make a difference. Denzel Washington hits the scene as an angel named Dudley, who shows them the way. Whitney is proud to be a part of a movie with an uplifting message.
You can make a lot of films, you know, but not one has been made about what has been around for so long, spirituality, you know, God.
Do you believe in angels?
I believe that we are all angels in our own way when we want to be. And an angel comes to assist you. Now, that could be me or anybody that wants to be that. It doesn't have to be angels who come down from heaven with wings and say, I'm here.
For Whitney, working with the Academy Award-winning Denzel was a wonderful treat. Houston had a chance to see a side of the serious actor that few seldom do, and even coined her own nickname for him. Where did Goof Daddy come from?
Denzel, he's like telling all our little jokes and stuff, right? Denzel is silly. He's a very silly kind of guy. We're both closet comedians, you know?
Goof Daddy. That was after the day of dancing, that idiot dance.
It was a bold statement she made about the press, but you'll understand when you hear some of the stories. Whitney told me the worst thing that was ever said about her was that she OD'd on diet pills. That upset her whole family, especially her mother, very much. The Preacher's Wife, by the way,
of the latest holiday film, The Preacher's Wife. Take a look at who's there. The VIP guest list included many of the film's key players and their supportive friends, most of whom were admittedly anxious to hear Denzel Washington match his singing talent with that of co-star Whitney Houston.
Does he sing?
Does he? He sings like a line. Really? Oh, a line.
I've never heard Dee sing, so it should be quite interesting.
He has a gorgeous voice. You didn't know that? He really can sing. When he comes by, make him sing something.
Yeah. He shouldn't quit his day job. He shouldn't quit his day job.
I cleared the room. I cleared the room once or twice.
I mean, what can I tell you? I got to say what every woman in America wants to say about Denzel Washington. Whew, that's a good-looking man.
The Preacher's Wife is a musical fairy tale that marries the angelic voice of Whitney Houston with the devilish charm of Denzel Washington. And
Bishop's Wife, and if you're going to do an update on a 50-year-old movie, I think it could be grounded a little more in reality with good effect and still maintain the fairy tale quality of the film. So, thumbs up for me on The Preacher's Wife. It's hard to name a more appealing couple of stars than Whitney Houston and Denzel Washington, but I got a lot of problems with this picture.
I give it a marginal thumbs up, too, and I had some of the same problems you had, and also
also I felt that Penny Marshall, the director, could have punched up the humor a little bit more. I mean, the villain isn't very bad. The jokes aren't, I mean, it could have, if she tightened the screws and not made it so laid back and sweet and warm-hearted and fuzzy, it could have been a great holiday movie instead of just a nice one.
Well, let me ask a question that maybe people are wondering as they listen to us. We don't seem very enthusiastic about the movie.
It's the people. It's Denzel and Whitney. They're worth the.
He is appealing.
Yeah.
There's nobody more appealing than him.
Now, a theological problem. This guy cannot be an angel, because he says he died 30 years ago. He's a human and came back from Earth. Humans don't get to be angels. Angels and humans are two different characters. Angels can't feel sexual feelings. So there's a big theological difficulty with this movie that I hope doesn't distract people too much, as it did me.
Okay, well, I wonder if you had the same concern about The Preacher.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, he's a plot point. The Preacher is a plot point. He has to do it so that he can get better from having done it.
Don't splash. If you don't cut the power right now, that woman's dead.
Oh, what's that one?
The Popeye.
Popeye.
Hey.
That is my dog. Will you let her go?
Excuse me.
That's a Martian? It's gross.
My God. Yikes.